Junk food supper.
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 Junk food
Junk
supper.
food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Welcome to Junk Food Supper episode 112. This is the internet's #1 podcast for group sexual escapades in the Mojave Desert. This is one of your hosts, Sean Byron, joined as always by Parker Bowman up there in the 559 at a safe distance, a reasonably safe distance from the Mojave Desert. What's going on, Mr. Bowman?
Hey, yeah, I am a little too far from the Mojave, if you ask me, sadly. But, yeah, things are good. Things are good up here. Nothing too crazy to report in the last few days since we've talked.
Yeah.
I don't know. How are things with you, though?
Things are good. I probably spent, I would say, somewhere around 90% of my waking hours in the past week watching all of the Dragon Balls, all the movies and cartoons. I was eating all the breakfast cereals and playing the Game Boy games.
Okay. I was going to ask if you've made any headway, because I know you were talking about how much you want to see them all.
I've made no headway. Sorry to say. I've got an excuse to the March sumo tournament just wrapped up this past Sunday, Bowman. So you got to give me a break.
Well, all right. I'll give you a break. I mean, you're already part of the way there.
I'm watching 6 hours of sumo a day for 15 days straight, Bowman.
And these are Japanese sumo men?
You know what? Most of them are. But then some of them aren't. You got Mongolians in the mix these days. You even got Ukrainians in the mix. It's a wild scene.
That is wild. I don't know if it's because we've talked about sumo a few times on the show, but I feel like I constantly get Facebook and like social media ads for sumo events going on.
Yeah, I think I've successfully done my duty of infiltrating your algorithm.
Between that and David Lynch, you most certainly have. I feel like that's my entire algorithm. But yeah, you're still not on board for like going locally to see sumo. You're still just watching the Japanese shit on TV.
They don't know how to throw the salt properly here stateside. You think they got the right kinds of salts? You think the clay is going to be up to my standards?
Nah, probably not.
They don't even know how to make a proper tawada.
That might be true.
Those are the rice bales that that line the edge of the ring.
Okay. But I mean, Americans, they do have some girth. They might be a little bit more girthy than the Japanese guys you're seeing.
Yeah, it's true. And I would welcome that. I'm a man who appreciates girth. I'm not ashamed to admit. Kind of a girth queen over here.
Understandable.
But no, it was pretty exciting stuff. My boy Kirishima, former Ozeki, who had some struggles a couple years ago. He's had a couple bad tournaments and was demoted. Finally, he's back up to the rank of Ozeki. So congrats to Kirishima.
Now, is it possible that sometimes these sumo guys get a little tired of being fat and they take a little Ozempics, you see? That's what we call them.
Not only possible, I think it would be foolish for them not to do so after hearing what a great name you've come up for it, Ozempics. I mean, who could resist, right?
Yeah. I wonder if that's like juicing for a sumo guy. Like if he's like, I don't know, I guess that wouldn't really help to get less fat, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this line of thinking, but I
think it's more just like if you're that fat, it's pretty likely if you're that fat and you're getting into fights 15 days in a row, like you're going to injure some shit. You're going to break a knee. You're going to snap off an ankle or two. And it takes time for these men to repair their brittle bones, That's true. I wonder if in the off season they slim down a great deal. Like if 3 months guys
before a fight,
wishing they had an off season.
Oh, is there no off season?
There's no off season.
Shit, that is wild.
Yeah, every 2 months you got a tournament for 15 days.
That's pretty hard work.
Yeah, and then in between those tournaments, you're basically doing like exhibition fights pretty much the whole time. So they go around on tour and they do these little fights that are maybe a little bit choreographed, or at least not full effort, but still you can get, you get hurt if you're getting thrown out of a ring.
One wonders how these guys can be so active and yet so fat.
I mean, that's why so few can, Bowman. Think of all the people that you know who chased that dream of being a sumo, and how few of them have succeeded.
Yeah. I mean, during COVID, I was certainly chasing the dream of being fat like a sumo guy. That's for sure.
Yeah, same here. Until the goddamn Ben and Jerry's supply locally ran out. Then I didn't know what to do.
Well, I'm glad to hear that the sumo is going well.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad that this tournament's over, to be honest. 15 nights in a row of being up until... I mean, I was up anyways, but being like focused on the TV until 3 a.m. with these dramatic bouts, it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's like, the amount of time, 15 nights in a row for several hours. That's like, I've seen an AEW pay-per-view. It's about the same, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. And on top of all of the sumo, we did have Revolution, which I think is probably still going on, to be honest.
They never end, those AEW pay-per-views. There's still all of them going on.
Yeah. Hangman Adam Page was just not willing to vacate the building. So he's taken up a side gig. He's going to be a vendor there now. He will be selling beers, but also continuing the pay-per-view somehow. Yeah.
Time is not linear when you're at an AEW pay-per-view. I think I'm going to start watching a lot of these because they just announced that they're doing like a WWE network type thing. So
yeah, right now it's like international only, but I think they probably will eventually allow US, and also there's VPNs, right? So I think there's a way to do that.
Yeah, that might be the move. But yeah, $20 for all that AEW stuff because I've got HBO Max, but I think like the most recent pay-per-views there are like a year old or something, and it's
and if you want to get the new one, it's $40 a pop still.
Yeah, that's.
Although I lucked out in a way where, well, I mean, I guess calling it luck is a stretch because it was very frustrating. But I paid the $40 to HBO, and in the past, I've done that with them multiple times, and in the past, it's always been a good stream. I got a nice clean stream out of it. This time, I pay these motherfuckers $40. The sound is like a full 45 seconds out of sync with the picture. It's like dropping the stream entirely. Sometimes it's erroring out, giving me these weird errors I never had in my life. And so I just went to my credit card company and like immediately disputed it. Like probably 20 minutes into the show, I'm like, this is bullshit because I was so pissed. And, they refunded me pretty much immediately, which was great. And then I did a little bit of digging on the internet, and somebody had like a workaround for how to make it work, and it did work. So then I enjoyed the rest of the pay-per-view for free. It was great.
That's the move. That's the move to make.
Had to disable my match content setting for frame rate, I believe is what for HDR. I was matching HDR, which always worked in the past, but I guess. I don't know, something about the HDR version of the stream that HBO provided didn't work. But if you force it into SDR, as you do from time to time, it worked fine.
Okay. Yeah, you would think that these billion-dollar companies would figure out their streaming services. I tried to watch the final episode of the Joe Bob Briggs show recently, like 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
And the audio was not in sync for that either. It was quite a bit behind. Yeah. And that streaming service has fucking troubles with everything, though. So I guess that's to be expected. But it's like, get it together with these streaming apps. They're all $70 fucking a month now or whatever. Like, you'd think that these companies could figure it out.
And meanwhile, I'm supposed to have confidence in the technological prowess of our country, vis-a-vis our first lady marching through the White House with an AI-powered robot today.
I didn't see that.
I'm on board, Melania. I want to believe in the technocratic utopia that you're building, but it's really tough with, streaming issues like we've seen with Shudder.
Yeah.
You didn't see this robot?
I did not see this robot. Was he cool?
No, he sucks. Fuck this robot.
Are they teaching a robot how to be racist in the White House?
I think they're teaching it how to eliminate everybody that's not fully in step with them. Does look kind of like it's going to be a T-1000 type scenario.
Well, this is great. What a great timeline we live in.
Yeah.
Well, I've got even worse news than a dictator who's using AI robots to start World War III.
I don't see how it's possible, but I'm willing to hear it.
I saw this movie Undertone, the new A24 film, in the movie theaters.
Okay.
And
so far, so good, I think, right? We like to see movies.
I do like to see movies, but generally I like
in a theater, that's for my money, one of the better places to see one.
I think so, yeah. I think theater's in the top 3 for sure.
It's better than Airplane. Would you have preferred to have seen Undertow on an airplane? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I think projected on the side of like a skyscraper is like pretty good one.
What about projected on the inside of a building that's square, but in a format that was intended to be spherical, like it would have been shown in the Las Vegas Sphere, but now you're projecting it inside a square building. Do you like that?
I like that a lot, yeah. That's
one
how
of my
I was seeing
favorites.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
But no, this movie is terrible. One of the worst I've seen probably in a long time.
Okay, so is this one of those fake non-horror movies that makes you think it's going to be a horror movie via the trailer?
Yeah, there's a lot of that because it's A24. Like all the trailers are like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. Like it's the scariest thing that's ever happened. And like the trailer makes it look creepy. Like the whole conceit to this thing is that, which they don't really convey in the trailer. I feel like a lot less people would have seen it if they did. But the whole thing is one lady. There's basically just one actor in this whole movie. And she's recording a like scary podcast with her friend where like they, are like, oh, let me tell you about the case of the haunted laundromat in Manchester, like stuff like that, like the sort of conspiracy theory, ghosty, paranormal podcast that they do.
Okay, maybe the kinds of stories that you and I might be familiar from, their times in copy pasta format.
Yes, absolutely. So the whole thing is that, and like that's an interesting concept. It's like just the one actress. Pretty much the entire runtime she's on her podcast, although there's like a few things where like she does stuff around the house and isn't on the podcast. It's a very like micro budget movie, and but it's kind of just like a tech demo or like a short film stretched out to 90 minutes. Cause like most of what happens is like they're recording and then you like kind of hear sounds, like she's wearing her noise canceling headphones, which work really well. And then you, the audience, can hear like ghosts in the house that she can't hear because of her headphones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And which is interesting on paper, but it amounts to like just absolutely nothing in a 90-minute feature film that you're paying to watch. Like there's like no plot at all. It's just like this podcast.
I feel like it's also kind of a missed opportunity to do a William Castle style gimmick here. Give everybody headphones that's playing a different audio track than the house speakers. You know what I mean? So that you can have that experience of like, okay, I've got the inner sound and the outer sound. But
that would be fun.
Fudging it with a sound mix, that's kind of lame.
Yeah. And yeah, I've seen people online talk about like how great the sound mix is and everything like this. And it's like, I mean, I guess like there's nothing going on in the movie. So it's like any sound is going to sound good because it's otherwise very quiet. But it was like very disappointing. Like, and then it just ends, like it just kind of ends. Like there's not even like a real movie to it. Like it's really disappointing. So,
all right,
another bad horror movie about podcasters. This and Halloween, I guess, the new Halloween.
Speaking of, like kind of experimental, super low budget. Sounds like this is like a single location movie that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think the entire thing happens in this one house, I believe.
Did you ever see that that movie? I think it was called Buried.
Oh yeah.
Where homeboy gets buried in a box, and it's like that's the whole movie. I like those kind of movies, like these kinds of we're taking a swing. We're going to set it in one place. It's going to be spooky and confined. I think somebody was talking about there's a movie out right now where like I think somebody is just chained to a wall for the entire movie.
That sounds interesting.
It did sound kind of interesting. And there is a story that's happening, but you're stuck there with them. So you kind of got to infer the story from like conversations that are happening in the other room that you can't fully see and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would check that out.
I have no idea what it is, so you can't check it out. I don't have a title for you, Bowman. But
well, I can find it. I'll Google movie where a man is tied up with chains and he's sexy. That's what I'll look for later tonight.
Was that the autocomplete? Based on prior history?
Yeah, probably. The autocomplete in my brain.
Man, the fact that autocomplete when you're searching shit sometimes is based on prior history and sometimes isn't. You're just creating potential for like, Three's Company style mix-ups where somebody's shoulder surfing me and they're like, why are you searching for that, bro? And I'm like, it's not in my history. It's just Google thinks I would like that.
Yeah. Well, that gives you like plausible deniability too, though. If it's like, if someone's like watching over your shoulder and you keep getting Google recommendations for like Niku Darama and August Underground movies.
To be honest, it's mostly whenever I search for an actress, it like the first like autocomplete is like foot photo.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The amount of foot perverts on the internet, I think that is probably part of everybody's autocomplete at this point.
Yeah, it's like, can't I just look at a photo of Angie Dickinson's boobs for once? Has it got to be feet?
I just want to see something normal, like boobies, for God's sake.
Yeah. And speaking of normal things that we've seen, I saw New York Chinatown Massacre from 1982 this past week. And I'm prepared to say that might be my favorite movie title of all time. New York Chinatown Massacre. I don't think you can beat that.
No, that's a pretty good one.
The movie was all right. It was pretty good. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but interesting that like this low budget Hong Kong film production company made a movie in New York with a bunch of actors and presumably some crew members. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm. I do like when the movie production features crew members as well as cast members. Yeah,
well, presumably. I didn't see them in frame, so I can't confirm. Maybe it was just the actors, doing double duty, handing off the camera back and forth on the reverse shots. You shoot me, I'll shoot you kind of a thing, as if they were on vacation.
Yeah, that would be cute. That's a cute way to make a movie.
But other than that, not much. Oh, I did want to shout out listener Elise, who is in town, and we met up for ramen and mochi. It was great to see her. Had a lot of fun walking around Little Tokyo. I think you've been to Little Tokyo, right, Bowman?
I think so. I think we went shopping there one time, I believe.
Yeah, that's where you get your little Godzillas.
Yeah. Yeah. She mentioned that she was going to be in town for the rock and roll festival.
Yeah. I don't know the name of the festival, but there was some sort of scandal, I guess, with the festival. So maybe we shouldn't even promote it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of scandals going on with a lot of festivals these days.
Yeah, doesn't sound very festive. Some of the things that have been happening.
No, but I'm glad rock and roll still exists and that people can go see it.
Hell yeah, it's a good sign.
Yeah. Speaking of art, though.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes people get together and they honor art with awards, like the Oscars. Have you heard about this?
Well, you call them the Oscars, but I like to refer to them by their proper name, the Academy Awards. Call me old school, Bowman. I just, Oscar is a little bit familiar, I think.
I don't know. I know that sometimes when you're a good actor, they give you Oscar,
That is true. We
That's what
did
I've
learn
heard.
that from Tim Heidecker, I believe.
Yep.
But no, yeah, we have a segment. It's fully prepared. Don't worry about it. We've done all of the prep work that we need to do. So you, the listener, can just sit back and enjoy. You don't have to do any work at all. But listen as we present this segment that is fully prepared. in which we go through the results of the 98th Academy Awards that happened a very long time ago now. We blew it. We didn't really schedule this correctly. We had the Kevin Moss week last week. So I think everybody out there can forgive us that we're getting around to this so late. But even longer ago, I feel like 100 years ago, Bowman and I made our predictions as to who would win these awards in these various categories that the Academy presents. And we will now go through them and determine once and for all, who is King Oscar? Is it Bowman? Is it Byron? Who's the King Oscar of this podcast? I think it's going to be me.
Only time will tell. And so the winner also gets a special prize, right?
Yeah, the king can make a proclamation.
Yeah.
And
that's exciting.
The specific parameters of what that are, or what the rules are, or how far you can go haven't been stated. But we'll just kind of roll with it and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Maybe we'll announce that next week or whenever it pops up or however that'll work. But
what we'll do now is we'll start with the very first category that was presented, at least according to my spreadsheet, which might not actually be true, and that is Best Visual Effects. This was presented, and we both had the same pick, so no matter what happens here, it doesn't really matter, is kind of a wash, but we were right. We both picked Avatar, Fire and Ash. The Academy agreed with us. I don't know, maybe they heard the show. I'm not sure what happened, but
yeah,
we are winners, right?
Yeah, I feel like this was the only reasonable option.
Yeah, certainly probably the visuals are the best thing going for Avatar, I would imagine. And
probably the only thing going for those fucking piece of shits.
Even then, it kind of makes me want to rip my eyeballs out.
Mm-hmm.
But good, okay, cool. So we both got 1 point. Moving on to Best Film Editing. You picked F1, I picked F1. The Academy picked One Battle After Another. So we get 0 points. We're big losers in this category.
Yeah.
Any regrets here, Bowman?
Well, I heard somebody on like a podcast mention that that One Battle After Another probably won this award specifically for that cool car chase at the end. And I feel like in retrospect, like that car chase was really cool and had cool editing. So based on that, I do regret it a little bit.
Yeah, and F1 didn't have any car chases, so.
Well, you remember that car chase at the end, like going up and down the hills, like.
Yeah.
That was really cool looking. I haven't seen F1. Also, I don't know how many hills they go up.
Debatably overlong by 30 minutes, that movie, so. But, anyways. Best costume design. Would it be for Hamnet as a Bowman picked, or would it be Sinners as a Byron picked? Unfortunately, it's Frankenstein. It's neither of our picks. We both get a big goose egg. Better than a small goose egg, I guess.
Yeah.
Makeup and hairstyling. Okay, you got the Frankenstein. I had the Sinners. And the Academy went the way of the Frank. They went for Frankenstein.
Yeah, could have gone either way. 2 good monster movies with a lot of makeups going on in there.
Yeah?
But yeah.
I figured by this point in time the Academy had seen enough Frankensteins, but I guess they can't get enough. They love it.
Yeah, they're probably going to be seeing more Frankensteins next year. With that Christian Bale one, he's probably going to win again.
You think so? People hate that movie though, right?
Oh, that movie sucks balls, but the makeup is cool. Frankenstein looks good.
Okay. Speaking of looking good, best cinematography. That's when you utilize tography at the cinema,
Like how high up you are?
I guess.
Topography.
Yeah. TBD on what this word means, but I guess you picked Sinners for it, and I picked One Battle After Another. And the Academy said Sinners was the best shot feature of the year. That's another point for Bowman. Wow. Now I'm starting to think that Bowman must have been cribbing his answers from somebody, in his office, Oscar pool, or one of these things.
No. Now, does this infuriate you? Because I remember when we talked about Sinners on the show, you said that it was an ugly film.
Yeah. It does. That's a good point. I'm not even thinking about the substance of what is being said in these awards. I'm just looking at whether or not they correlate with what I said. Yeah, that's a terrible decision. It's probably the worst looking movie in terms of photography that I saw in the year. So, yeah, it's very infuriating. But I know that at this point, I know my tastes don't align with the public at large, and I've come to accept that. Production design. You had Hamnet. I had Frankenstein. And hey, okay, all right. The wind is pushing in my direction again. Frankenstein won this battle.
Oh, okay. I still haven't seen that Frankenstein, but yeah. From the clips I've seen, it looks like there's a lot going on in the background, a lot of pretty stuff happening, so it makes sense.
Just from the title alone, I think you can infer there's going to be some production design. And most movies also feature sound these days. That's a common element of most films, sound. And the best sounding picture was awarded by the Academy. That's where we are, right? Oh, it's weird. Okay, casting and sound are kind of flipped on our list versus theirs, but they do have sound on the list here. You picked Surat, a movie I never even heard of, and I'm pretty sure you just made it up.
Yeah, this was a write-in.
Yeah. Trying to shout out your friend's short film on YouTube or something, whatever this Surat is. I picked F1, which of course was the winner, so we are now tied. We're 7 categories in?
Yeah.
And we're both tied at 3. So this is still anybody's ball game. It's an exciting place to maybe take a 7th inning stretch here. Eat some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Sing a song. How are you feeling about the results so far, Bowman? Are you nervous?
No, we got a lot to go. You did just get 2 in a row, I guess, so that it's...
Yeah, I got momentum. Yeah. What could that mean? Well, don't let it get to you. I don't want to see you making any fumbles in your gameplay. Just because I've got the momentum, don't let it get to your head. Best casting. You had Sinners, a movie that had a cast. A cast of dozens, at least. Pretty big cast, I would say. I had One Battle After Another movie featured actors. And the Academy recognized that it featured actors, and they said, you know what? That was the best group of actors that we've seen this year. We're giving best casting to One Battle After Another. Hence giving me a point.
Yeah. I take umbrage with this decision because most casting directors do their casting before the movie, but the casting director in Sinners is so good that if you'll remember, Sean, they actually cast 7 or 8 new people in the very last scene to show up just to be killed by vampires, characters that were not in the rest of the fucking movie who just show up out of nowhere for that final battle.
Yeah.
And I think that casting director really went above and beyond to start casting actors in the middle of the fucking movie like that.
Dude, he's still at the Crypto.com arena casting together with Hangman Adam Page.
They're just never done casting.
Yeah, they can't stop these two. But no, Sinners lost, One Battle won. I'm in the lead. I'm officially winning right now. #winning. But best music is up now. We've got original song and original score. So brace yourself. It is 2 categories for music and... Well, I guess we'll start with song. You had Sinners. I had K-pop Demon Hunter, because I am something of a K-pop fanatic. You know that about me. It's not true at all. And I'm pleased to say Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters is the winner. So I won that one.
Yeah. I heard about that on the internet, and I remember you picked that one.
And that gave you pause at the time, I'm sure, because you know this proclamation that I've got in my back pocket here. It could be anything. It could be a deadly proclamation, the likes of which you're not even prepared to deal with.
It's true. You could ban all Feldman movies.
I could ban all sound features. I could say, you know what? It's going to be all Harold Lloyd and Buster Keaton from now on, dude. I hope you like Fatty Arbuckle in 2026.
Well, I do. It's his year.
All right, best music original score. You had Sinners. I had Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Where did they go? They went for Sinners. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're coming back. I see how you're doing here. I see what's going on.
It'd be hard not to go with Sinners on this one. It was clearly the best.
You like those Irish jigs.
Those Irish jigs were good. That score with like that twangy guitar going crazy all through at it. It's good.
That music came on. You were in the audience saying, "Jig a what?" Retirement Plan was your pick for best animated short film. Pearls was mine. Nobody's heard of any of the movies in this category.
Yeah, I think we both just guessed.
Yeah, and so did the Academy. They just rolled a six-sided die, and they landed on The Girl Who Cried Pearls, which was my pick. So I'm glad that they did roll the die, and I struck gold there, I guess. Best live-action short film. You have something called Two People Exchanging. Exchanging what? Oh, exchanging saliva. Oh, shit, dude. We've got a problem here with this category.
This is the one where they had a tie.
This is unprecedented. Yeah, there's a tie in this category.
Yeah.
So I had Friend of Dorothy. I get nothing, clearly. I'm just going to put the big goose egg next to me. They didn't pick that. But they did pick The Singers as well as Two People Exchanging Saliva. So there's two winners in this category. Question is, do you get a point or do you get a half point?
Well, I feel like there's no other half points that will happen.
So I guess it wouldn't matter, theoretically.
Yeah.
In that case, a half point is as good as a point, right?
Yeah. So I think it would have to be a point. And besides, or a half, or whatever. But like, either way, because they're both worth the same amount. But, unless we tie. I guess if I'm 0.5 away from you, then we'll have to revisit this idea. But, yeah, I didn't know that this could happen. And the person winning the award did not know either, because they were also shocked. Why do they never mention this? I didn't know that this could happen, that you could have a tie at the Oscars. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess it has happened a few times in history, but I don't know that I even knew that it was possible either. And yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that means, though, literally like the exact same number of votes for these two things that presumably thousands of people vote on. Like, how many Academy voters are there?
That's a good question. It's got to be quite a few.
9,900 voting members as of 2024. So,
yeah. So this is very rare statistically.
It's pretty wild stuff. But congrats on your half point. I wish that you had picked both. I think that the smart play, a better player would have said, you know what, it's going to be Singers and Two People Exchanging Saliva. So you did okay, but next time I expect better,
Well, next time I'll take into this statistical anomaly. I'll take that into account. All
right, well, what is the next category? I've read out half of these. I think it's your turn to do some reading on this, if you like.
All right, yeah. Next one is Best Documentary Short Film.
Yeah.
Which is a short film that's also a documentary. I chose The Devil is Busy, and you chose Perfectly Strangeness, which I think we both probably guessed on because nobody's seen any of these.
Absolutely. And the Academy had All the Empty Rooms, which means that neither of us won.
Oh, well, that's just great.
I don't even know what that is.
The best documentary feature film, I chose Putin. Because I know how the Academy likes to let people have a little bit of a soapbox. And you picked Perfect Neighbor. What one?
It was your friend and not mine, Mr. Putin.
Oh, yeah. I actually love Russia. That's why I went with this. Now that they've won, I'm allowed to say that. Best international feature film. I chose Sentimental Value. You chose Just an Accident. I think I know which one wins. But can you confirm who the winner is for this?
Now, they still make these? They still make international features?
Yeah, sometimes. I think there's like 2 countries out there still doing it. That think that
I thought
cool.
we were gonna like tariff those to death, right? Wasn't that the plan?
Well, we're going to be bombing them with our AI drones soon enough.
Oh, that too. Sentimental Value was the winner. It's a Norwegian film that apparently you knew everything about. You knew that it was great.
I've never seen it, but I like that director, so that's all I based this on.
Okay, well, do you like animated films, perhaps?
I do. I chose Elio, which is the new Pixar movie, or one of the new Pixar movies. They do a lot of them. You chose the K-pop Demon Hunters.
Now, I think in normal circumstances, everybody would say that it's foolish to vote against Pixar. But those were in the John Lasseter days, I think. And I feel like Pixar has not seen a massive success in quite a while. And this is yet another example. Elio did not win. K-pop Demon Hunter did get the award. That's another point for me. Man, it was getting close. You had 6.5 points. I was at 7. This buffer, of 1 point put me at 8. That's exactly what I needed.
I agree, because otherwise the math would be upsetting. I'm going to be upset if I lose by half a point for getting a correct answer. But the next one we have is Best Writing Adapted Screenplay. We both chose Hamnet, which is based on a novel, which is based on a guy's real life.
Yeah. And my thinking there is like, it's got to take a lot of skill to craft a script to make something interesting out of Shakespeare,
Of course, yeah.
Take this boring ass old grandpa shit and you made it something that people wanted to see and pay money for. Not something that they were forced to sit through in school or something like this. That impressed me. Did not impress the Academy enough, because both of our picks of Hamnet failed to win the award when one battle after another picked it up instead.
Yeah, which is weird, because I hear that movie has almost nothing to do with the book that it's based on, but what can you do?
Maybe that's the Academy saying, you know what, we don't like books. The best way to adapt a book is to erase its memory.
That does sound like something the Academy would say.
Yeah, these movie-centric snobs over there.
Yeah. But they did award an original screenplay for its writing. I went with Blue Moon, which is actually based on another guy's life, so I don't know how that's not adapted necessarily, but you went with Sinners, which is also a movie.
And I think the Academy saw through your ruse. They said, Blue Moon, how did we fuck this up? This shouldn't be in this category. We're not going to vote for this as the winner, when the winner is Sinners. So I got another point there. I'm at 9 points.
It's a good script. All right. Next, we have Best Actress in a Supporting Role. I went with... Which one was it from Sinners? Is it like the... Michael B. Jordan's wife, I think, was the one who was up for the...
Yeah, of course. It was Wunmi Mosaku.
There you go. And you went with One Battle After Another.
Yeah, well, I went with Benicio del Toro in One Battle After... Did I? Right? Oh, no, that's supporting.
Oh, no, that's actor.
Oh, that's the actor.
Yeah,
Jeez,
this is
what am
actress.
I looking at? I'm looking at
What
actor. Yeah, so Tiana Taylor is who I went with.
There you go.
Doesn't matter in the end. Amy Madigan from Weapons, everybody's favorite Gladys, she won.
The absolute worst pick that they could have done. They went with. Good for them. They
Well,
did.
They had to promote their opening bit with Conan O'Brien.
I guess so. They had to fucking do some kind of weird shit because that fucking performance is goofy and no one's going to remember that movie in 2 years. So good work, guys. Best actor, though, in a supporting role.
This is where I went with Benicio. I was not confused about his gender or his pronouns. I know Benicio del Toro's status. He's an actor.
Mm-hmm. He is, and
he's an actoro, actually.
He likes to have 2 little beers on screen. Delroy Lindo is who I went with, who also drinks the beer on screen, actually, oddly enough. But who was the winner?
I feel like this is a case of both of our picks being so correct that they canceled each other out. Mm-hmm. And the Academy is like, you know what? We can't decide between these two. We just got to give it to Sean Penn instead. And you know what? Fine. They did it. I get, that's what happens sometimes. You split the votes. 2 great performances with Delroy and Benicio. And Sean Penn, he sweeps in and gets the sloppy seconds.
Yeah. And Sean Penn's really good in that movie.
He's good, but I mean, come on. Is
outside of the competition.
How many little beers does he drink?
0 little beers.
Exactly. And that's what we got. We got a big fat 0 for that round.
Yeah. Best actress in a leading role. I went with Jessie Buckley from Hamnet, who I love. And you went with Emma Stone from Begonia, a movie we did on the show.
Before I look at the results, because I do actually want to point out, maybe I didn't even mention this at the beginning of the show, or beginning of the segment. I don't know the results. I didn't watch the Oscars. I won't watch the Oscars. I did watch most of the On Cinema at the Oscar special, but I do have to finish it. It's like I said, with Sumo and AEW Revolution, and there's just so much shit to watch. It's tough to keep up. Yeah. But I did not watch the Oscars, so I don't know what's going to happen. And we are at the point now where you've got 6.5 points. I've got 9 points. There's only 4 categories left. It's down to the wire. So maybe this is the point in the game where we do the little manager interview, Bowman. How are you feeling about your lineup? Is this the rotation that you need? In these late innings.
Well, I also did not watch the Oscars. I do know the next 2 answers, though.
Okay. Well, you think that you know.
Well, I know the next 2.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I found them out because I was deeply invested in these categories. So I found these 2 out.
You might not have seen the Wikipedia page since I completed my last edits, though. So who is to say what the truth really is?
Yeah, well, that's true. But
actress in a leading role, Hamnet versus Begonia, and in fact, Hamnet won the battle. It's a point for my boy Bowman.
Jessie Buckley's too good in that movie.
And then actor in a leading role, we got Blue Moon.
Ethan Hawke, yeah.
Yeah, the Hawkman. We got Leo over there in the one battle.
A consummate professional.
And this might be another case of 2 great men splitting the vote, because I see a different name bolded at the top of the stack here. It's old Smokestack, Michael B. Jordan from Sinners. Now, does this count as a tie, or what is this? He's only nominated once, right?
He is, yeah. It's kind of weird.
I wasn't sure if they nominated him twice, because you can have 2 different actors from the same movie, in a category.
Yeah.
If this is 2 different characters by the same actor, should they get separate noms? Should I be considering his entire, body of work playing both characters? What do I do here?
I mean, I think you just multiply. That's what I think the voters did here. Because, I obviously like Sinners a lot, except for the 3rd act that sucks and ruins the whole movie. But I like Michael B. Jordan a great deal in that movie. But I don't think that his performance is necessary. I don't think that either the performance of Smoke or the performance of Stack is Oscar-worthy. but they're both very good performances. So if you multiply what he did times 2, then I think that's how he gets the win, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I guess
like-
so. Yeah.
like I would say like Leonardo DiCaprio and Ethan Hawke's performances were both 100% good. And I would say that the performance of Stack is 75% good. And the performance of Smoke is 75% good. But you add those together and you get 150% good, you know? Like that's how he wins here.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, if I were doing the math, I would maybe add a step where we divide by 2 at the end and derive an average, but, you know, sometimes math is not the strong suit of these knuckleheads over there at the Academy.
I agree. They got some Steiner math going on over there. I mean, they say that all men are created equal, and when you look at Ethan Hawke, you can tell that's just not true.
No, dude, he's roided up to the craziest degree I've ever seen in cinema, I would say.
Yeah, you step into the best actor category with Ethan Hawke, you got a 66% chance of winning at best.
Yeah, dude.
However else that Steiner math goes.
R.I.P. the Steiners. R.I.P. Braun Breaker, for that matter.
Oh, yeah.
And R.I.P. our picks for best directing. We both picked PTA.
Yep.
For One Battle. And even though he did win, it doesn't mean a lick of shit, right?
I guess not to the voting since we both went with him.
So we both get 1 point. You're at 8.5. I'm at 10. We got a final category here, but it does feel like no matter what happens, we have a clear victor.
Well,
But tell me, what were the selections in the Best Picture category?
well, not that it matters, but not that it matters. All right, so the Best Picture category, I went with Hamnet, a
Yeah,
movie I love a lot. You went with Sinners.
a movie that I don't love, but I thought the Academy loved it. I thought I knew this Academy, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess I did, given that we were both wrong and I still beat you 10 points to 8.5 points. But it was not to be for us in this final category because, yeah, they picked one battle after another.
Yeah. Very, very shocking. Not very shocking, I guess. I mean, but all the movies were good. Like, well, all the ones I saw. Like, I feel like a lot of the time when they do the Oscars, it's like there's like 2 movies that are good, and then like the rest of them are all just like fucking stupid, pretentious dog shit. And I feel like everything was like pretty solid this year. So, oddly enough,
It's a decent crop of flicks.
yeah. So you can't be mad at it. But you did win.
I did win.
Congratulations.
Congrats to me. And you know as well as I know what that means for the next year on Junk Food Supper. There will be a special rule that is adhered to
Mm-hmm.
that I'll announce on the next episode.
Oh,
I barely remembered that we even had to do this, you know?
yeah. Well, all right. I look forward to finding out this new rules.
I just came on the show for the new rules.
Congratulations on winning Oscar.
Congrats on me finally having a reason to use that drop. And I knew that I pulled it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Exciting stuff. Well, maybe
Yeah.
we'll do that again next year.
I
If they
think that
still
would be
do
fun.
these, you know, assuming the Oscars still continue.
Oh, yeah, that's possible that they won't. It'll just be Netflix giving itself awards next year, I think.
Yeah, why not? They probably are like the greatest media company to ever exist.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I mean, they put out all those Adam Sandler movies, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I like about them. All right. That wraps it up for that segment. If you guys want to send us a voicemail, you can do so 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. Let us know about your Oscar wins. How do you guys feel about the Oscars? How many points did you get? Did you like that really cool Sinners musical number that they put on? Because that shit was fucking cool as hell. Let us know about that. You can also go to facebook.com/junkfooddinner and hit the call now button. That would also do the trick of sending us voicemail. So do that. And while you're thinking about doing that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about a movie that stars Laura Palmer's mom, Zabriskie Point. So stick around. Grace Zabriskie, get it?
Yeah. Yeah, oh,
That's
yeah.
Laura Palmer's mom.
Yeah.
Zabriskie Point, a remote and barren blister of land in the American desert. As isolated as the face of the moon. Zabriskie Point, where a boy and a girl meet and touch and blow their minds. Zabriskie Point. How you get there depends on where you're at.
Welcome back to Junk Food Supper. The movie on the show this week is going to be Zabriskie Point from 1970. This was directed by Michelangelo Antonioni. I think this is like a few years after Blow Up, and pretty much immediately before The Passenger, two movies that we've reviewed on the show. I guess, this time period, 1970, is considered now to be like late peak Antonioni, at least by me. But at the time, Zabriskie Point was definitely seen as kind of a virtual career ender. Critics hated it. Audiences mostly missed it. And I think, in the intervening years, it's gained more of a cult following. But outside of the director, the movie is still notable for its soundtrack, which includes an original Roy Orbison title track, as well as several Pink Floyd songs that were composed for the movie. I think there's tracks by the Grateful Dead and the Rolling Stones and other bands in there as well. And it all sounds great. I thought the music sounded really good in this. The plot is sort of, I guess it's sort of a proto One Battle After Another, or maybe even a proto Badlands. But I guess I should make the standard disclaimer here that I sometimes make about spoilers. This is a movie that maybe is best if you don't know anything about it. The plot doesn't really get cooking until like an hour into it. And so even talking about the basic plot is maybe a tiny bit of a spoiler. So if you think you're interested in this movie, I would say just go check it out. It's available.
Yeah, go watch it. You got it. This guy made Blow Up. Watch all of his movies.
Yeah. That said, we start this movie off embedded in a cinema verite style glimpse into the LA counterculture, wherein we attend a meeting of revolutionaries, including a cast of actual revolutionaries. There's at least one very famous Black Panther on screen in this scene, and maybe even more. But these guys want to organize a student walkout protest at USC, I think both to protest the war and also civil rights, There's this one guy at the meeting, this hippie guy named Mark, who's played by an actual hippie named Mark Frechette, who isn't buying it. You know, he's heard enough of the jibber jabber. You know, even if he does agree with the politics here, he bails from the meeting, but not too long after, when the protest kicks off and the cops are brutalizing kids, Mark has a moment of truth where he pulls out a gun and maybe kills a cop to try and save this kid. But to be honest, in the melee, it's not really clear if it was his shot that killed the cop. But anyways, he freaks out and hits the road. Or to be more accurate, he hits the air when he steals a small airplane from the Hawthorne Airport and flies off into the Mojave Desert, Nathan Fielder style. Which, by the way, did you also get rehearsal vibes from those scenes of small airplanes flying around Hawthorne?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's like not really. I mean, it's not nothing set up in this movie in a traditional way, but yeah, he just like hops in the airplane and takes off, and that kind of feels like Nathan Fielder. And in the rehearsal, he's just like, "Yo, I'm in an airplane now." And it's like, "All right, that's what we're doing now."
Yeah, and you feel the real danger, involved with the plane, especially later on.
Yeah.
But around this time, we do get some pretty insane war protest footage that I would guess Antonioni purchased. It looked like real documentary footage of actual protests that I don't think he shot himself, but who knows, I guess. Meanwhile, there is a girl in the picture named Daria, played by actual hippie Daria Halprin. She's working for this evil millionaire land developer played by actor Rod Taylor. And there's a funny bit in this where the characters are like marveling at the existence of what they call centi-millionaires, which I guess means people that have more than $100 million. Like, this is a time before there even was a billionaire on the planet. So it's kind of a quaint little moment where they're talking about these centi-millionaires. But anyhow, he's kind of a prick, this land developer guy, and this girl Daria is kind of over it. So instead of meeting up with him at this business retreat that she's supposed to go to, she just kind of dicks around in the desert. And wouldn't you know it, these two star-crossed lovers cross paths right out there in the Mojave, when in his escape, Mark flies right overhead of Daria. And then he starts flirting with her by doing some insane plane stunts. And I really liked how they did these plane stunts. Like, they give you like a handful of impressive little moments early on where he first gets in the plane, where he's like dodging stuff and it's like real close near misses and stuff. But they underplay it where it's like, it's not like in a movie where like you'll get like all these angles and close-ups and like, you know, they don't really telegraph that they're doing a stunt here. They just kind of do the stunt. It's in a wide shot. If you caught it, you're really impressed. If you didn't catch it, maybe you didn't even notice that he was so damn close to clipping that building or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I like that, man, that it just feels like real documentary ass footage of people doing dangerous ass shit.
Yeah. This whole movie, maybe more than any other movie I've seen outside of like maybe Night of the Living Dead, I guess, like feels like a documentary. Like, I mean, outside of obviously like mockumentaries and stuff, but like things that are actually trying. But like, yeah, this whole movie feels that way, where it's just like, yeah, life is happening, and there just so happens to be a camera there to maybe catch most of it, hopefully. Kind of a feeling, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and it's a crazy thing though, where it's like the guy can pull off these incredible compositions where it's like the camera is placed in the exact perfect spot. There couldn't be a more mathematically perfect spot for this camera to be placed in. The light is incredibly perfect. Everything in the frame is 1,000% right. And at the same time, it doesn't feel like a setup. It doesn't feel artificial. I think that's incredible, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Anyhow, after meeting up, these two head into Death Valley together. And I was actually kind of surprised to notice this week, doing research for the show, Death Valley was not even a national park at the time and wasn't a national park until 1994. Which kind of surprised me it was that late. guess it was just a national monument before then. But anyhow, they head into the park, passing the famed Zabriskie Point, which is like a geological feature.
Yeah.
And from there, some freaky hippie shit goes down, including that one notorious orgy scene that is, in fact, fairly wild for 1970. So I guess let's talk about this. You got your Romeo and Juliet. They're falling in love, and they finally, they finally do the deed. And in the midst of it, I guess like a fantasy or like an acid trip kind of experience is happening, where all around them there's like hundreds of hippies just boning out there in public with them.
Yeah, I was like trying to figure out what it was. Like Jennifer and I were watching it, and we're like, "What? Like, is this like?" I thought it was like maybe some sort of like a weird universal thing. It's like if you're making love to one lady out in Death Valley, then you're making love to the whole world or something like that. Like that's my interpretation of it.
Which I think, and I'm going to just put it out on a limb. I think those kind of feelings of universality are a common occurrence when you take LSD, right? People have told me that you feel connected to everyone.
Yeah, from what I've been told by the big kids, that is part of taking drugs.
Yeah. So I think it was that. I think it was just an illustration of these kids are tripping and they're feeling connected to everybody else that's tripping with them.
Yeah.
Or even the people that aren't tripping, But
yeah. Imagine tripping so hard that you accidentally pull in somebody who's not tripping into your trip, like in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Right? That would be wild.
It's pretty much what's going on here in the desert.
Yeah. I don't suggest making any kind of naked love in that desert, though. There's fire ants. There's scorpions.
Oh, dude. Even
this
just
is not
the dust
soft
factor. You know what? I mean, those kids at Woodstock had it good with the mud. Mud. I mean, I'll take mud over this fucking dust any day. This dust getting everywhere.
Yeah, take mud. Or it's not even like the soft sands of a beach, Like, yeah, you don't want anything remotely Death Valley-y next to your junk.
No, certainly not. It was controversial, though, the scene, and there were like a lot of publicity reports about the scene. Even before it was filmed, the news was claiming that Antonioni planned to gather 10,000 extras to film the orgy scene. That, of course, didn't happen, but there's a good number of people spread out across the dunes out there.
Yeah, I would say there's probably, the big wide shot, I don't know, there's maybe close to 100, maybe. Yeah,
it's a good amount. Certainly more people than you would expect to find fucking out in the open air in the desert, Yeah. Although this was 1970. But yeah, the DOJ also investigated whether or not the scene violated the Mann Act, which, by the way, if you're going to pass a law that forbids the taking of women across state lines for sexual purposes, do we really need to call it the Mann Act? But since no state lines were crossed, I guess the DOJ didn't realize that Death Valley was within California. So these kids from LA didn't actually cross any state lines. They couldn't pursue it any further. State officials in Sacramento were also ready to charge Antonioni with immoral conduct, prostitution, or debauchery, based on him staging an actual orgy, but it was not an actual orgy, and so nobody was charged. But yeah, just wild stuff, and it's crazy to me that we got the Italians coming over here to commit public sex crimes within the confines of our very own national park system, and nobody's talking about this,
Yeah. Well, if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be the Italians.
I would think if ICE had their priorities straight, I'd be going after these Italians,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they do. They come over here and they just have orgies. Have you ever been to Little Italy in New York? Orgy City. I went there for a slice of pizza one time, and I had to check my lease because I was living in Fuck City.
Man, talk about a spicy meatball. Am I right?
Exactly.
But anyhow, yeah, I don't want to get too much into like the end of this movie. Maybe we can later, but overall, I just really liked the movie's sense of realism. I thought it was cool that they got access to both sides of the kind of popular struggle of the day, you know, revolutionaries versus authority. And it, like I said, you do get like real access to both sides. Like these are real ass hippies on screen playing these roles. They don't feel like they're fake Hollywood constructions of a hippie. And even on the other side with the police stuff, I think that they filmed a lot of that police stuff in like real police stations. You get access to real police helicopters and stuff like that. And kind of a little bit of their perspective, even to the point where I think, you know, differing audiences could see this movie at the time and come out rooting for, you know, either one side or the other. You know, I think if you were kind of authority minded or whatever in 1970 and you saw this, you would probably root for the cops and you know, root against these hippies, and then vice versa. So I think that's a good attribute to this. And also there's just a great flow to the visual elements of the movie. You know, it's a movie that starts very small in these enclosed spaces in the city, in these small meeting rooms where the revolutionaries are meeting. Then we get to see the city from the street view, see the buildings around Los Angeles, all these great shots of different parts of the city. And then we're on top of the buildings, you know, in these office high rises, looking out the windows at these iconic views of, you know, carefully constructed LA landmarks. And then we see it all from above, you know, in the little airplane, and things look really vast up there from the sky, you know, if a little bit smog covered. But then we're out in the desert and things are even more vast, and it's just these unimaginably huge landscapes. And I like how it kind of builds throughout the movie to these grander and grander locations, and all of it looks great. Even early on when we're just in like little meeting rooms or that little gun store that they go to, something about the way that Antonioni shoots with a wide lens. The guy can make like a small little gun store look like a gorgeous landscape. And I like that scene where we get to preview the real desert by seeing this fake desert that the land developer has recreated. Yeah, there's some fun little side quests in this where we meet random weirdos. There's a silent cowboy at a bar in the Arizona desert who I really liked. He's got kind of Sam Elliott in Big Lebowski sort of vibes. There's a group of kids who are like a pack of wolves in this that I don't know what to think about, but they are in this. I think what people didn't like about this at the time, and maybe people who don't like it now still don't like about it, is, you know, the actors or the non-actors that are in the lead roles. But I kind of liked it. I don't know. And you know, there's limitations there. They're not the most capable actors, you know, in some sense, but I don't know. For me, it did contribute to the realism and helped immerse me in this. And if, you know, they didn't nail every line perfectly, I think that's fine. I've seen enough Italian giallo movies at this point with bad performances. You know, I'm used to an Italian director, you know, just getting the lines recorded and that being good enough. So, and it's not the case here. I don't think they're bad. They maybe could have found more polished actors, but I think that would have kind of destroyed the point of this. And I think people also maybe get bummed on the lack of clarity with this movie. I don't think the messaging is super clear, but at the same time, I wouldn't expect some crystal clear or didactic messaging from a movie about the flower power generation. You know, I think this is a bit aimless, and I think that's on purpose. And I'm fine with it being kind of a little bit of a rambling mess, because I think it's an interesting mess. Anyhow, I really like this. I'd never seen it before. I knew that I would enjoy the locations and the photography, and I certainly did. You know, a lot of movies end with a shot of the sun setting in the desert, but I think this movie might have the prettiest looking one of all time. But I didn't expect how much I would enjoy the immersion into this hippie life that these two people were actually really leading. So anyhow, I thought it was a cool trip, but what did you think about Zabriskie Point?
Well, I was excited to see it because Antonioni is my guy, based on just blow up, I guess.
You didn't like The Passenger?
I thought it was all right. I liked it, but it wasn't. It's no blow up.
Okay.
And yeah, the letterbox summary for this movie says that it took place in Death Valley, so I was in. I love the Mojave. I go there as often as I can, and I also like it in Fallout New Vegas. Yeah, so I was excited for this. It's a little jarring when it starts up because it really just like drops you in. Like it really like leans into that like documentary style, that cinema verite, and like you're just there. Like there's no like establishing shot. I don't think even like there's no even like a dropped line of like the main character being like, hey, I think I'm going to go into this building where they're having a discussion about this and this and this. Like it's just like you're in it and people are yelling at you.
You don't even really know who the main characters are for a while, and like it's you get through that entire scene and you could easily not know that Mark was going to even come back. You know, it actually kind of seems like he's going to just exit the picture when he exits the room.
Yeah, it absolutely. And yeah, like if you were to just guess, like if you stopped the movie after that one scene and you're like, okay, who's the main character of this movie? You would guess that it's that black guy because he's...
Yeah, or Kathleen Cleaver, the Black Panther.
Yeah, like, yeah, you would guess it's one of those people because like they're getting the most screen time. Like they have a lot of presence. Like, you know, they're talking the most. So yeah, so when this guy just takes off, because he's afraid of being bored to death. You don't expect it to be him. And so it's like interesting to follow him then out of this. And I like a lot of the scenes. Like it is so fun to see this LA. Like this LA looks so crappy and I love it. Like, I mean, not in the, like it obviously like the way it's shot looks cool. But like, it's like a part of LA where it's like big factories and stuff, like stuff that you
a lot of Vernon.
See.
They show the Farmer John's murals in this, which I love those murals. Sadly, the building got torn down a couple of years back, but for decades we had these murals in LA on the Farmer John's slaughterhouse of these happy pigs like marching to their death. And he shot the hell out of them. They get a lot of screen time.
Yeah, yeah. Now, where is this up north? Is this like...
No, it's like kind of just south of me. So basically, if you're in Monterey Park, East LA area, you go south from there, you're in Montebello, and then just south of there, you're in Vernon. And it's where all of like the train lines for industry shipping terminate. So that like there's multiple like train lines for people, you know, shipping big goods into LA that all terminate there and get unloaded, and vice versa. I guess stuff that's produced here is shipped out from there.
Okay. I feel like I've driven by something like that down there. But like, yeah, the time I drove like from your house home and I didn't take the highways, I was like kind of running into not a lot of places, but like kind of through like big factories and stuff like this too. So I wasn't too sure where this was.
There's a nice variety though, because you get in that one driving scene with Mark and his friend or whatever, you get like Beverly Hills, you get Vernon, you get downtown. It's kind of all over the place, including places that, I feel like you don't normally see too much of.
Yeah. And just the way that you see it, like, you know, like there are like so many like beautiful signs. Like, I mean, it's really like kind of crazy to see how much like advertising was just signs and like posters and stuff back then. Like
there's that one little liquor store that is just a tiny little corner store where a guy is like making sub sandwiches or whatever. And on the outside, they've got one of those huge muffler men statues, because I guess it's like adjoining a body shop or something. Mm-hmm. And they've also got one of those giant three-dimensional hot dog sculpture type signs on the roof of the building, and they've got a giant Coke bottle like statue, and it's like incredible. Like, 3 programmatic signages on one tiny little corner store. Is this heaven, Bowman? What's going on?
Yeah, it's beautiful. And there's that big like 7-Up sign too.
Yeah, hand painted right on the wall.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Fresno has one of those in the Tower District still, like a big old school 7-Up thing.
But I think the smog that we see on screen and kind of like the griminess that is present like in the corners of the frame when we're in LA in this movie, I think that's all like on purpose. Like I think Antonioni is calling out like oil companies specifically in this movie, right? Like there's that one shot where we're at like in some kind of an oil factory, refinery or whatever. And there's like anti-oil company graffiti on display in the shot, like right next to the logo for what I think was a real oil company, which I was like, that's kind of ballsy. I don't think a movie today would, feature Exxon and have some graffiti that's like, fuck Exxon.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I feel like you'd have to get clearances and stuff for that now. Maybe he was just out there shooting whatever, get like stealing shots and stuff. Like, I don't know how that works. Maybe there were different laws back then about that, but like, or maybe they signed off on it. I mean, they were, what do they care if some Italian guy is talking shit about him?
Seemingly the police departments and I think USC and other groups that you wouldn't expect to have involvement, like gave some level of involvement for this picture that is, I think pro-revolutionary, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. If you're not certain where this movie stands, like once you get to the end, I think it's pretty clear. Although, I mean, I would say it's pro-revolutionary for sure. And then some of that slice of life stuff, like this, like that scene where you mentioned where he goes to that sandwich shop and those guys are just in there talking, and he like asks the guy if he can be trusted to pay him for the sandwich later. Like that stuff like feels like very like proto Linklater, like just like a guy roaming around doing life type stuff. I like that stuff. That's kind of what I liked probably most about this movie is when it's, sort of like the real life stuff, like driving around, hanging around school, going into sandwich shops, stuff like that. Just driving around LA. When it gets a little bit more fantastical, I don't want to say I like that stuff less. I feel like I connect to it maybe a little bit less, but I still like it because it's still like pretty and it's like evocative and stuff, like the orgy scene and the plane stunt scene when he's like chasing down the girl and all that. Like I like all that stuff. I'm glad that it's on film and that it's captured and it looks good, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I just sort of connect to it a little less.
In terms of hangout stuff, this is pretty early for like a hangout kind of picture, a few years before American Graffiti. So I feel like the tendency in Hollywood was to have movies where people are doing things all the time and that contributes to a consistent narrative that goes from A to B. But the Italians, or at least Antonioni, they were willing to just do things a little bit differently,
Yeah. And even like the stuff that like seems like it's like plot heavy, like the protest at the school and the shootout, like that, even that stuff feels slice of life. Like partly because of the way it's shot, and then partly just because like that's how your day goes. It's like he's at school in the morning, and then in the early afternoon they go to the gun shop, and then in the late afternoon they're back at school, and then in the evening he's on the run. Like it all kind of follows like an actual daytime flow. Like if this was like a more Hollywoody narrative movie, like that shootout would happen, like that would be like the end of Act 1. It would be like very demarcated in some sort of a way.
Well, also like if this was like a Hollywood movie, like he would be following the police being on his tail by like watching the news every night and finding out like, oh, they're on to me. And in this instead, it's just like he talks to his friend at one point, and his friend is like, "Oh, I think I saw you on the news. Maybe, I don't know. It looked kind of like you." And he's like, "Oh shit!" But it's not like that moment of him watching the news and be like, "Oh my god, they're looking for me.
Mhm.
Oh, they're printing up wanted posters." You get none of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, a more Hollywood movie would have like Robert Duvall as like a detective who's about to retire, but he's got to catch this punk kid before he does. And like we'd have, we'd cut to him every 10 minutes or whatever for a scene. Like, and this movie is not concerned with that at all.
No, they're not going to provide you with like a hero cop in this. The police are just kind of a nameless force of goons, as they are in real life, just kind of nameless and faceless.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all the better for it. I didn't really understand the like the real estate people at first. Like I trusted that they would come back at the end and like it would all kind of tie together, and then it does. But when they pop up at the beginning, it was like, well, what are these guys doing here right now? But I do like that they show that commercial for like the little resort community that they're building and like the houses, what they'll look like in the future. And it's all mannequins inside the houses.
Yeah.
Like that felt really like A, it's striking just to look at, and B, it like felt really prescient because like I feel like with like all the big equity firms buying up houses now, like houses for nobody to live in, basically, like for mannequins to live in and other inanimate objects. Like, yeah, it just like felt like kind of what we're going through now in sort of in a real way rather than a dystopian metaphorical way.
It is also that kind of classic sci-fi thing of like a dystopia being presented as a utopia, where it's like, oh, look at this cool environment that we built for you guys that is plastic and fascist.
Yeah. And also, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't think about this at the time, but I think like when we were like testing atomic bombs, like we built like little fake, neighborhoods with mannequins and stuff just to see how atomic bombs would impact, facsimiles of humans. So I wonder if that's kind of what they're drawing on, kind of considering how this movie ends.
I could see that. I hadn't considered that, but I think, yeah, it very well could be.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so that stuff, it kind of sticks out at the beginning, but it comes back around. The deserts all look great. Deserts always look great. Even in Neil Breen movies, deserts shot on film look great.
But you have to agree, especially great here.
Absolutely, yeah. They look wonderful. Like he finds like the right hills to set up on and like the right mountains to put in the background. And I mean, even the porta potties, like those striking red porta potties, which can't be real porta potties.
Well, they don't have them anymore. I was wondering, are those real? When they first drive by those, I thought they were like trash cans or those kind of trash cans where you put like fire embers after you've had a campfire. Mm-hmm. But no, they're like porta potties. Very weird.
Yeah, those are cool. Seeing like that tank on the side of the road that you could just fill up water for your radiator.
Yeah. Which they probably needed because I read on Wikipedia, they shot this thing in July, I believe.
Yeesh.
I don't know why they didn't opt for cooler weather.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you do it in spring, you'd get like all the wildflowers and stuff and it wouldn't look like a desert anymore. Maybe in certain parts, I guess. I wonder. I mean, I guess just to get it to look as barren as possible.
Yeah, maybe. But damn.
But yeah, I'm sure they probably came close to dying. But then again, they were naked a lot of the times. Maybe not.
Yeah, there's that.
But Jennifer told me that she remembers being a little kid and driving through the desert and they still had those tanks for radiators, which is cool. Yeah, I like the part where he paints boobies on the airplane.
Oh yeah,
I like that. And then, so to spoil this, we're going to spoil the ending.
Yeah, let's spoil the ending, and we are going to talk about the very, very ending of this, like the very last 1 second of the movie, and we're going to spoil the hell out of it. So, like, I don't know, I guess skip to the end of the show if you don't want to hear that, but otherwise, go see this. I like this a lot. I think people should see it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching.
And it's kind of a shame that this like killed the dude's career. Like if this had been well received, who knows? We might have got a bunch more big feature films from Antonioni, but we kind of didn't after this. He kind of started winding his career down.
Yeah. When was Easy Rider? Was that like that was
That's
around
like
here.
69, I think.
Yeah, it's
So,
kind of
yeah.
odd that this didn't get some of that. Like maybe if this was like a year later or 2 years later or something, maybe it would have been bigger and it could like ride some of that kind of Hollywood new wave energy or something. But yeah, kind of weird that this didn't do well. But
Oh, actually, and before we spoil things, I just want to throw out some trivia real quick because I've got this loaded up. Wikipedia tells me Harrison Ford is in this movie. Did you notice him?
no, I did not.
He's one of the arrested student demonstrators being held inside an LA police station. So that's pretty exciting.
Okay, yeah. I thought he was just a carpenter at the time.
And then just a funny little anecdote about Mark Frechette, the guy who plays Mark in this. The way that they cast the guy is apparently Antonioni's casting director, Sally Dennison, witnessed a fight at a bus stop in LA where a guy was yelling at another guy, and one of those guys was Mark Frechette, and she liked the way that he seemed angry and recommended him to Antonioni, and that's how he got the part, was just being observed arguing with somebody at a bus stop. But then anyhow, through the course of the movie, the two actors, Daria Halperin and Mark Frechette, did actually fall in love in real life. They moved together to an experimental theater community run by a guy named Mel Lineman. I think this was the Open Theater, the people that provided the extras for the big orgy scene. But anyhow, while at Fort Hill, this girl, Daria, fell in love with Dennis Hopper. So she broke up with Mark Frechette, got together with Hopper. They got married for 4 years. And then Frechette would kind of go on a downward slide, it seems. He got convicted for committing a bank robbery in 1973 and then would later die in prison in a reported weightlifting accident, although the way that it's phrased on Wikipedia makes me a little bit suspicious. But kind of crazy, story for these people. It's like, hey, one day I was just at a bus stop arguing with a guy. The next thing I know, they put me in a movie because of it. Fell in love with the girl. Wouldn't you know it, she fell in love with Dennis Hopper. Now I'm off robbing banks. Now I'm in prison. Now I'm dead. What a life story, Mark Frechette.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the original ending of Blue Velvet. I think Kyle MacLachlan was supposed to rob a bank and then have a weightlifting accident after Dennis Hopper steals his girl.
I think they were wise to change it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, we should talk about the very end of the movie.
Yeah, so this ending, a whole entire house gets blown up to jump to the meat and potatoes of the ending.
Yeah.
And this is a house, right? Like at first I was like, oh wow, that's a really great miniature. But then they show it from like too many angles. And I was like, wait, if they got this much coverage of this thing blowing up, it must be a real house.
So I am a little bit confused about all of this. I think it has to be a model, right? I'm pretty sure it's a model. I think that's a famous house, right? I don't think you can blow up that house, Bowman. I think it's a model. But
well,
it does look incredibly real. And that's what I wanted to point out. Is like, I walked away assuming that's got to be a model because there's no other way they could have done it. There's no way they're getting permission to blow up this giant, beautiful house. Mm-hmm. Even if it was scheduled to be blown up already, I don't know. Like, who would blow up that? It's so beautiful, that house.
Well, that was my theory, is that like, because it's like built into the rocks and stuff. And my theory was that like, that house was built in like 1938 or something. And like the government came in the 70s. It was like, hey, you can't build a house inside rocks. You have to tear this down. And so the production just found out and decided to use it for the movie. Like, that's my theory. But I obviously have no idea. If it's a model, it is one of the best models I've ever seen blow up.
I think it's well, and that if anybody can do blow up, it's Antonioni.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. He did. He did spend all that time blowing up the footage. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it looks good.
the house is still there.
Oh wow!
If you just Google search house from Zabriskie Point, you can see it. Yeah, designed by architect Hiram Hudson Benedict. In fact, I think you can stay there.
Is it an Airbnb now?
Kind of. I think they have like their own website, but same sort of
Wow.
thing.
That is a spectacular model then.
Yeah.
All right. Next JFD meetup. We'll stay at this house.
It's funny. The website for this house talks about it, and they say much of the picture was filmed in Carefree, Arizona, and centered in the Boulder Rain house above. The movie never made much money, but had a lot of beautiful desert scenes, in addition to promoting the young town. I don't really remember them promoting the young town very much.
Yeah, I don't remember there being much of a town at all, except for that one bar where that cool old coot is hanging out.
Yeah. I like that coot.
Yeah,
He was cool. But he doesn't rule as much as that model. Goddamn, that is like the best model that's ever been used in a movie, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know how he did it, because usually, there's a model in a movie, even in like the Lord of the Rings movies where they're using these bigatures or whatever, you can see the seams. Like you can tell, This looked perfect.
And I mean, he shoots it from like 12 different angles or something. So you think that one of the angles would be bad, but...
And like the scale of the fire looked correct, because that's a lot of times you're like, well, the house looks okay, but I can tell that these flames don't match the scale of the house. That was not the case here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm also a little surprised that this was in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, they cheated that a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, it's same basic desert, really, but...
It's the Sonoran Desert, man. It's not the Mojave Desert. That's the Sonoran Desert, dude.
What is it? No, I thought the Sonoran... Well, yeah, you're probably right. You're right.
Very
Those
different,
are totally different
topography.
I'm a desert poser.
Gotta learn your cinema topography.
Yeah.
Anywho, you like this. And you like that ending.
I do, yeah. There were some parts where I was like it got a little like 2-lane blacktop for me, where I was just like,
nothing's happening.
The cinema's a little too verite right now. Like, like maybe like the beginning of the orgy scene and some scenes like that. I was like, all right, like we can kind of move things along. And it is a 2-hour long movie.
It was very tay, is what you're saying.
It's very tay.
Very tay.
So I wasn't like super in love with it because there are like, I say this about every movie, but chop about 20 minutes out of this and I think it would benefit. But I also think, I was also, this being blow up guy, I was also maybe expecting a blowout, which is like, you have like this very interesting central character and like this very interesting, like kind of moral or immoral dilemma going on with him. In this movie, it has like a little bit of that, but mostly this movie is vibes. And so I was not expecting a movie that was 100% vibes. So if I rewatch this, knowing that it's not about a guy who's a fugitive, like the letterbox summary suggests, and it's not about like the revolution is not the plot, the revolution is the vibe, I will probably like this a lot more. But that being said, I do like it quite a bit. So yeah. This is good. This is a good time.
Nice, very nice. Well, another indication that it would be a vibes-based picture would be the fact that I picked it.
That's a good point, yeah.
Something of a vibesman over here,
You do like to just vibe.
Yeah, I like to vibe during entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a reference to girths, even though I am a girthsman.
Mm-hmm.
It's not talking about me vibing with girths over here.
Well, I've got some vibes for you for next week.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a choice between 3 things.
All right. I can do that.
As you know, one of my absolute heroes in the world, Sam Keith, died this week.
Oh, shit. We didn't even mention that. R.I.P. to a real one, dude. I also the Max was huge for me, and I always loved Sam Keith's art. I got at least two full short boxes of Sam Keith stuff, the Wolverine stuff, the I Before E collections, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've been trying to track down all his covers like the last few years. This is like the Marvel Presents stuff, and I think I've got most of them. I need more of his Wolverine stuff, but his stuff is so good. But we'll be talking about it more next week because we have 3 movies here for you to pick from.
Oh, okay.
To honor his memory, 2 very directly and 1 sort of tangentially. The first thing, of course, we could watch The Max, the TV show. We did it on Junk Food Dinner, but it was like the first 10 episodes or something like that, and it was before you were on the show. And I think we probably watched a VHS rip on YouTube or something, and now there are tons of HD, very nice looking versions of this out there in the world. The whole run of the TV show comes out to like 2 hours or something. So we could do that. Sam Keith also somehow directed a live action movie in the year 2000 that is called Take It to the Limit. And I know this used to be on YouTube, so maybe if you pick this, we might have a little trouble finding it. It is about a troubled teenager who joins a group of rock climbers and is quickly forced into death-defying adventure. I have no idea how this movie came to be. Maybe we can find that out if you pick it. But also, word on the street is that it's not great. So maybe we don't want to honor him by doing this, but it does seem interesting. I mean, I obviously would want to watch this. I think you probably would too. So those are 2 Sam Keith, very Sam Keithy options. The third option to honor Sam Keith, who was one of the early joinees of Image Comics, is to do the Todd McFarlane movie Spawn. That I think that could also work if we wanted to talk about the legacy of all those guys and lump Sam Keith in with the bigger Image Comics thing and talk about that if you want. Which of those 3 things would you like to talk about next week?
My fear with picking the Todd McFarlane property is that it's probably going to spill over into a little bit too much Rob Liefeld talk for me and my tastes and my sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
I'm real tempted. So I'm looking for Take It to the Limit right now. And unfortunately, I don't see it anywhere. Maybe it's just kind of a generic name.
Yeah. I think the name's generic.
On Amazon. The Amazon is only DVD, and it's...
You can get the VHS tape for $15 or something on Amazon.
It's 25 now. They heard you talking about it.
Well, oh shit. Yeah, I know this was somewhere, and I've like saved it. I like bookmarked it, and I mean this was probably like 10 or 15 years ago, so it may not be anywhere.
Yeah, based on
this is nowhere.
Yeah, well,
if you're not seeing this,
yeah,
then to give you a real third option, I guess, if this is not an option that doesn't seem fair, we could also do the unreleased in America Gen 13 animated movie, which is another Image Comics thing. I would say that we could watch the first couple episodes of the Sandman show, but it's not on Letterboxd, so we can't do that. That would fuck up our whole Letterboxd list.
We're talking about the 1998 Gen 13 movie?
I believe so, yeah, the animated one. It was only released in like Europe and Asia or something, and never in America, technically, but it's out there.
But it's kind of in the same animation style as Teen Titans Go, it looks like.
I've not seen it, but yeah, I don't think it's that cartoony, is it?
Looks pretty cartoony.
Oh, well, it might
it's
be.
not,
it's like kind of a
Japanese animes, is what I'm getting at.
No, I think it was sort of a response to like the X-Men, the Fox X-Men show.
Okay.
So, if Take It to the Limit is nowhere, which it probably is the case, then Spawn Gen 13 in the Max.
All right, let's go with the Max.
Okay.
I love the Max. Haven't revisited the Max in quite a while.
Oh, okay.
And I would look forward to that. I would go for take it to the limit, but I'm starting to question whether or not I could obtain it for free.
Yeah, I probably should have looked beforehand. But it's really weird that thing even exists. And like I've read so many of like the Max letters columns at the end of the comics, and he's never mentioned that ever. Like I have no idea how this thing came to be, like what it even is. Like so I'll look around. Maybe we'll do it again one day. Come back to it at some point. 'Cause, it looks like it's not even on YouTube.
All right, well, we'll do the Max instead. Do all 13 episodes.
Yeah, there are 13. Depending, although when it came out on VHS, they took one of the episodes out, but I'll find the best quality one. It probably has that reinserted, I imagine.
Is it really only 2 hours? That can't be true.
The episodes are like 12 minutes long.
Oh, okay. I forgot that. I thought they were like a full 20.
No, they were very short. They were meant to...
Oh, because it's with the head at the same time, right?
Yeah, so it was like 2 episodes, like 2 quote-unquote episodes per half-hour block. So, they're very short.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so, all right, the Max.
And no need for us to review the Max, the retail store owned by TJ Maxx.
No, we don't want to review that. We already did that one on Junk Food Dinner.
Okay, that would be good because they went defunct in 2009. Who knew that TJ Maxx had another store called The Max that ran from 2006 to 2009? Wikipedia knew. And they were concerned that I was mixing up my Maxes. When I went to the Image Comics Max, they're like, make sure you didn't actually mean the TJ Maxx store that only existed for 3 years.
So I found an HD version of the Max, the whole shebang. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I love it. That's an acceptable runtime.
Okay.
It's probably roughly the same as Zabriskie Point, I would guess.
Yeah, about the same.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. And there are little, issue-sized breaks in here in case you want to split it up over 2 days. It's a TV show after all.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
It's settled.
All right, then. Well, that was another installment of the Junk Food Supper podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Between now and next week, when we review the Max, you can do all of the things that we ask you to do at the end of every episode. You can send us an email to jftpodcast@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail message at 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. Go to junkfooddinner.com. That's where you get all the back episodes of this show and JFD. And, we got links to other shit that we're doing whenever we're doing other shit. We got patreon.com/junkfooddinner. Go there to kick us a few bones for all the hard work that we do as your favorite podcasters. Look us up on Discord. Our Discord is a fun place to hang out and chat about snacks. And I think that's probably... go to youtube.com/junkfooddinner. There's always fun videos there. I've been posting episodes. You see that, Bowen? I've been posting back episodes of this show on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I love to see it. I think YouTube is the way of the future. And I think giving the kids more options on how to listen and watch is always a good thing. And I appreciate your hard work doing so.
Yeah, so if you find yourself in a place where access to YouTube is more amenable to you than a podcast, maybe you're out, sitting in front of your TV and you got the YouTube app open, look up Junk Food Dinner and then we'll give you some podcasts to listen to. But yeah, I think that is all that I got. That's all that Bowen's got. That's all that we got. Until next time, this is your friend, Sen Biro, for your other friend, Perky Beantown Bowman, saying, keep washing them dishes.
Put it in your Bruce.
Hell yeah.